All right, so you guys know what time it is. It's that time again. It's the time of the season where everyone is in ramp up mode to get all the information out to you so you can make educated decisions and know what's coming down the pipe, for our new expansion. So here we have Mr. GM. He's going to give you everything coming in the midnight pre-patch. It is going to be a great time. So let's go ahead and get into that.
Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about the pre-patch. Yes, the midnight pre-patch. And in this video we're going to go through everything that is coming in this pre-patch. There is so much. It is pretty insane. So before we begin, if you like this type of video, please do leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. We do a ton of World of Warcraft content over here. So if that's your thing, then drop a sub. Right on. The midnight pre-patch launches extremely soon. As of the recording of this, it is next week, January 20th, 2026 for the NA region and January 21st for the EU. Of course, this pre-patch brings a ton.
Right, so don't get confused if you see the 21st and you're watching this video and you're like, that's a 21. No, that's because that's the EU date that they'll be getting it, and we'll be getting it on one day earlier. So you know how it goes.
Ton of different features which we're going to go through in this video, some major, some minor, but we're going to try and cover everything that is coming. I will note as well, the pre-patch event does start 1 week later on January 27th for the NA region and January 20th.
I didn't understand that so much. Why are they starting it 1 day later? It could be the same day. Give everybody more stuff to do because, we're not going to already have Mythic Plus or the first season start until a couple weeks later. Maybe update me on that, but it's not going to be at the same time, and it's not going to take us that long to get through the story. So it's going to be really kind of blah, or well, that's not the expansion, right? So, all right, never mind. Yeah, okay. I got confused.
8 for the EU. There will also be another midnight patch.
What makes it even worse than what it was? Why the week later?
12.0.1. Now that's going to launch probably about a week before the launch of Midnight. There'll probably just be a lot of minor changes in that. If there's enough for a video, I will obviously cover it in a video, but for the most part, it's just going to be a lot of minor things coming in that patch, I would imagine. So let's start with a big one, and that is, of course, a new race class combination. The Void Elf Demon Hunter is coming in the Midnight pre-patch.
There you have it.
So this is unlocked through a very, very
That's what I know you guys have been all waiting for this.
That should probably automatically pop up when you log in. This quest line takes you back over to...
How many of you guys are going to go for the Devourer? How many of you... I know one of you is going to main it. I'm sure of it. But how many are going to just create one to say you've tried it? It was it's not your play style. I don't really find it going to be mine. Being a mid casty, I believe in Havoc. You're in there with your blades. But for those that like the idea of it, I've always wanted a Void Elf, Demon Hunter, but I didn't know that it was going to be a caster type of gameplay, I guess. I don't know.
Koresh to complete some things, and completing this quest will give you access to the Void Elf Demon Hunter. Now, Void Elf Demon Hunters do start at level 10 in Telegrass Rift. There's no special starting zone. There's no special kind of interactions or anything like that.
I thought that kind of sucked. I thought they could have done a little bit more of the story for it. Not so much the quest line for it, but I was hoping there would be a little bit more of a story, make it its own, kind of like when the Demon Hunters were brought in Burning Legion, and you get found. I believe you're in a crystal. Am I right? You're in a crystal when you're found as a new Demon Hunter, and then you go through the quest line of the story. I think it should have been something like that. Be a little creative. The game needs more story.
You simply just start at level 10. As of the recording of this, there are no new customizations for them. However, Keyboard Turner did data mine some potential new ones, which just haven't been hooked up. So I don't know if Blizzard just didn't go with them, or they just haven't been hooked up, and maybe they'll turn up on patch day as a surprise. But yeah, as of right now, there's no new customizations. Obviously, you'll just have the kind of standard customizations you get with a regular Void Elf, just with the addition of Demon Hunter stuff as well. So yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that I heard, and as he's going through the customization, one of the things there is going to be the ears, not the ears, the eyes. They both start with the eyes. And so apparently for the devour, they don't have the ability to be purple eyes, and everybody's saying why, because they're using void power, not fel power. The only eye color is going to be your green. So I believe that is something they may want to look at. Who knows? I believe that if they are going to be voidy, they should have purple eyes. I think that goes. I think that tracks.
That's going to be available from patch day. Sticking with Demon Hunters, we also have a new spec coming for Demon Hunters. This is the Devourer spec. This is a new Void-themed specialization for Demon Hunters. This will not have an unlock. This will be available to all of your Demon Hunters as of launch. This is a mid-range spec, so it'll feel a lot different to current Demon Hunters. This will also include a new hero talent specialization called Annihilator, which is also used by Vengeance. So a lot going on for Demon Hunters in the patch. I'm not going to go into too many details about the spec because genuinely I don't really know too much about it, but there is a very good video on the Warcraft channel going over it if that's something you're interested in. But if you do play Demon Hunter, you could just switch over to it on patch day and check it out. It's pretty interesting. I kind of enjoy the gameplay. Sticking with classes, there is going to be some massive class changes across.
We just covered this. We just covered this when we were covering the notes. I didn't go through all of them either. There is a lot. I did pin it, and I'll do that once again down below. But there is so much to go over and look at. So whatever you're maining, check it out. You may agree or disagree with some of it, and see how the squish goes for your classes and what abilities have been removed or been given back. You never know.
The board for basically every single class. Now, what you'll notice is probably just quite a bit of pruning to classes to make them feel a little bit simpler. Now, if you want to see specific class changes for your class, I'll link the patch notes down below so you can check out everything that is coming. There is tons of class changes. Your classes are going to feel a lot different when you log in on pre-patch. I certainly feel a little bit indifferent about some of the hunter changes, but that's okay. That's okay. I'll get used to it. But yeah, massive class changes coming in pre-patch. Also in the patch is a stat squish. So when you log in on pre-patch day, you will notice your stats are going to be a lot lower.
A lot lower. Do you see that? So you got 713 there that you have in retail. And then in pre-patch, they went down to 153. Wow. Wow. So that's why they're talking about if you want to do any of the legacy content, right? So you want to go back and get some of your transmog, or you want to go back and get some of your possibility at mounts. You better do that now. You better do that now, because later, until you grow in your strength of the character, you might not be able to get all those achievements done or transmogs acquired.
So this will include damage numbers and item levels, not player levels. Player levels will remain the same. So yeah, when you log in, you're probably going to notice some lower numbers. Now, this is something they do every so often. The last one, I believe, was in Shadowlands. And from some testing, it feels pretty similar to how it feels right now, just with lower numbers, just to be a little bit easier to sort of understand how your damage is doing and things like that. I do like it. Obviously, on the Midnight Beta at level 90, we are kind of getting up to higher numbers already. So maybe we'll see another stat squish sooner rather than later, but it is nice to see, and certainly something that will probably continue to happen every couple of expansions just to keep the game more manageable. So yeah, hopefully this one doesn't mess up too much legacy scaling through old dungeons.
One of the things that I've always remembered as a World of Warcraft player is every time I think of numbers, I remember when Preach did the epic dumping of the bag of dice that came onto the table and just rolled off the table, because this is all the things when people are complaining about your squishes, these are the things that the computer is trying to put in. But then it kind of doesn't make sense in a way, because then you have Blizzard, who gave us the nice skill talent trees in Dragonflight, gave us heroic or hero talent trees in the War Within. And now in Midnight, they're going to go with the Apex talents. So are they kind of doing this to themselves and making the game once again go overboard with the complexity and the computing that all of these maths have to do and make everything harder to balance? I don't think they need to give all of that. I think maybe they need to reimagine the tree itself. But I hope that they do not plan on giving us all these different kind of additional added here, passive trees, and because if anything, with the pruning of the classes, we're not looking at pressing more buttons. We're not wanting to do that. What I believe we want to do is just feel strong, but by adding a bunch of passive abilities, ones that may or may not impact our classes to the point where we need a buff at the top right to be able to see that we've procced an ability and now we should dump more damage into the into it. Just, you see what I'm saying? That's where the complexity comes in, and I thought that's where we were trying to get away from,
because that's what happened last time. But this one seems a lot different to the last one, so here's hoping. Moving on, we also have some pretty major updates to the transmog system. So firstly, the first thing you're going to notice when you log in on pre-patch is that you're going to get a ton of new appearances. So collecting a full set from a higher difficulty will unlock all the subsequent difficulties. So for example, if you unlock the mythic set from a raid, that will unlock all of the appearances for heroic, normal, and raid finder.
Nice.
This also works for 25-man and 10-man.
I think that's a great addition. I think that's awesome.
Includes, so not every set is included, but it is the majority of the raid sets in the game, and this is retroactive. So if you have an older set from the game that you've completed, you will get the subsequent sets. As said, it is full sets, so it's not just like one item. So if you get like the mythic gloves, that's not going to unlock the previous appearances. You do need to get a full set, and you can obviously work on that right now before pre-patch, just getting all of the highest set you can possibly get. So yeah, a great change. Another change for transmog is a complete redesign of the UI. So as of launch, you will now transmog the slot and not a specific piece of gear. So if you end up getting a new helm, you won't need to re-transmog it. This will just keep the same appearance regardless of what helm you have. Another change that is happening is that Fury Warriors will now be able to transmog their two-handed weapons into one-handers, which, yeah, is fantastic. I love that. So the way you transmog is changing as well. So you'll now have things called outfit slots. Now, these are not outfit slots like we know them right now. They're just kind of reusing the terminology. So this is a new system where you purchase outfit slots that you can change freely. As of pre-patch, there will be 50 slots you can unlock, and these do cost gold. The first two are free, but it does go up in price, starting at 100 gold, 200 gold, 300 gold, into the thousands, into the tens of thousands. But really, you're not going to need all 50, I wouldn't imagine. But if you do want to unlock all 50, it's going to be about 2 million gold to unlock those. So
that's crazy. But I mean, yeah, like he said, I don't imagine, unless you're somebody that's a true diehard of that many different sets, 50 for a few million. And then one of the things I understand is that if you get it on Achilles, the Paladin, you could still have it on Achilles, the Hunter. So you won't have to spend those millions on the different alts that you have in your army. You get that account wide, so you don't have to buy them all over again. So keep that in mind. If you want to make that one-time investment for the few million to get all 50, and you want to dress yourself up for every occasion around Azeroth, have at it. You know, it's your money. I don't pay your sub.
Basically set your transmog inside these outfit slots, so you can have like one set in outfit slot 1, and then in outfit slot 2 you can have another set, and it is free to switch between those, and you can actually put it on the
I think one of the outfits that you should have is when you go into your house, instead of having your onesie, you just get into your boxers, dude. You just get into your boxers, and that's how you roll around your house. That's it. And then if you have your permissions on like public and everyone can walk in, it would be neat if like whoever came in your house, it would make their transmog go to boxers. Like you could set you can make them be naked. I don't give a shit. It's your house, your rules.
bar as well if you want to do that, and you do this fun little Wonder Woman spin when you do it, but it's free to change between the outfit slots. Now you will need to pay gold to change the transmog inside the outfit slots, though. It's about 1.5 to 2k for an entire set, but obviously you won't need to pay that again anytime you get new gear, but you will have to change it every time you do decide to change your transmog. So I think overall you probably will be saving some gold here. The other part of outfit slots is that these can actually be assigned to a new system called situations. So the way that these work is that you can set a specific outfit.
I think this is one of the best ideas for transmog I have ever seen. I think it is so cool. You know, I saw a guy just out lounging. I'm sure you still have to put out the toy for the umbrella, but he just, he wants to go to the beach. The minute he hits the sand, he's in his attire. He doesn't have to worry about opening up a transmog mount and swapping everything over. No, the guy just boom is in his mog and he's ready to go. I think this is a great added ability. I've not seen this before in any other game. Maybe it's there. Someone can tell me, but I've never seen it.
It to a specific situation. For example, you can have a set automatically appear when you're swimming, and then when you're not swimming, it goes back to your regular set. As of right now, the current situations are locations, so depending on what type of content you're doing, like dungeons, raids, PvP, etc. You can have movements, so you can have like regular movement or ground mount or flying mount and things like that. You can even have it for specific specializations, including ones that you've created. And for Drakthir and Worgen, you can have different sets for different racial forms. You could
That's different, like even though your visage form for your Worgen looks amazing when it's in its top hat, that looks so stupid on your wolf, on your Worgen. That looks so shitty. Although I don't think there's a lot that they look good in because the model is just not. It'd be better if they were just tabard only, in my opinion. But same maybe can be said for the evoker. I don't know. I think the evokers look better in armor than the Worgen. So that's just my opinion. This is a cute set right here. This is what I'm talking about. You get to the beach and this is what you come out with. Forget about it. That is so cool.
Also combine these as well, so if you just wanted a swimming set while in a dungeon, that can be done, which is really cool. The set tab has also been updated. Now it continues to show completed sets, but it now also shows incomplete sets, which is nice. And you also have the custom set tab that has all of your previously saved sets from the old UI. So if you've made a bunch of sets previously, you can now still view them and create new sets in this custom set tab, and then you can assign that to your outfit slots, which is nice. So overall, in my opinion, a much better upgrade to the current transmog system. It is a little confusing. I do have a full video going over all the different details and stuff like that that I might not have covered in this video. So yeah, go check that out if you haven't. That is the new transmog updates in the pre-patch.
That's cool.
Next up, let's talk about add-ons. Yes, as of pre-patch, all add-ons are being removed from World of Warcraft. I'm joking.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, imagine a world where you download World of Warcraft, you open it up, you're excited, and you want to play, you're ready to get into the game. You know nothing about this list. It's empty, just like this. A blank space into the void. Nah, forget about it.
It's not actually happening. Don't repeat that. What's actually happening is that combat add-ons are getting their API restricted. Certain information will no longer be able to be customized or generated by third-party add-ons. This change does pretty much just affect combat-related add-ons. So add-ons like Leatrix Plus, All the Things, Narcissus are all pretty much unaffected by this change. The team at WeakAuras did announce that they're no longer making a version for Midnight, and this will come into effect in the pre-patch. So we will not have WeakAuras, as of the recording this, in pre-patch and beyond. Now, Blizzard are slowly reverting some of these changes to find a good middle ground with add-ons, so I would imagine even with the 12.0.1 patch, we will see some further changes to this, but certainly if you use a lot of combat add-ons and WeakAuras, it's going to feel a lot different in pre-patch. Now, add-ons like Bigwigs, DBM, Details, etc. will just reskin the information that Blizzard provides, so for the most part, it probably won't feel too much different, but yeah, certainly there's going to be not as much.
I know, for instance, that when I log in and I'm going to disable all of the add-ons that I have, and I'm going to definitely try and give myself the ability to use everything that Blizzard has. So I don't use a lot as there is. So I'm thinking my UI by itself is going to look fine. But what I'm talking about is the encounters themselves, I think, is what is going to be the learning part for some of those of us that are not going to be using any weak auras. And for the most part, a lot of the verbal cues should come from the bosses and the encounters in the game, which I believe they do for the most part. But this is something that'll make you start paying attention to those. This is something that's going to help you start developing a good, I want to say a good foundation of being alert of everything that's going on around you. And that should come from everything that's coming through the speakers from the encounter itself, instead of, something telling you, AoE. So get ready. You have to watch. Right now, there's a plague explosion going on. What does that mean? So you're gonna have to try and start learning these abilities to try and see what it is they do and affect the party.
Customization in regards to combat and encounters. So let's go into some of the user interface updates because there are a ton. This is actually the majority of the pre-patch. So firstly, we have journeys. This is a new interface that will replace the traditional Renown UI. Now this is retroactive and will go all the way back to Dragonflight. This UI also features things like the Delver's Journey and the upcoming Prey Seeker's Journey from Midnight. The Delves tab has actually been removed from the Group Finder panel, so that's gone. Say goodbye to that in pre-patch. This will now be replaced with the Journeys UI. The Journeys UI also does have a button to see your Great Vault progress, and if you want to access the Journeys tab, this has been added as a new tab on the Adventure Guide, so all of your Renowns and Delver's Journey and things like that will be featured on the Journeys tab from now.
So am I to understand that that means that there's no longer going to be the Renown track that you see when you open up your character screen, right? Am I wrong? There's that. But this is going to be one of the buttons at the very top if you have your quick hit buttons up there for your tabard or your guild or your communities. This is going to be up there with that, it looks like, right?
On. We're also going to get combat audio alerts in pre-patch, so this is an accessibility feature and you can enable audio alerts for various combat related things. There is tons of customization here and it just seems like a really great accessibility feature for those that need it. Obviously, some people will probably not need it, but the people that do need it will certainly need it with the changes to the API. So
those who need it will need it. Those who don't need it don't need it. So one of the things that's definitely going to help is some of the people, for instance, that we have in our community here, which is, accessibility add-ons for those that have disabilities that they use these tools for to help them get through the encounters. And they're in guilds such as Dauntless, if I recall correctly, who are hearing impaired, but there are a variety of disabilities that go for players that play the game and enjoy the game. So I want to say, until we get to see how this is implemented, I want to say Blizzard is at least listening and knowing that they had to do something to include everybody to play the game. And so I think, and we'll get to see what the feedback is about it, but I think them putting this in is going to help. But let's be fair, it's going to help those that don't like to look at anything, and it's going to help them get out of shit. But it is what it is.
Yeah, certainly a good change for sure. Also, nameplates. So we are going to get new default nameplates.
Oh, this is my favorite. I want to see what nameplates are going to be like. That's going to be my biggest Achilles heel when it comes to pre-patch.
As of pre-patch, there are 5 different variants that you can choose from right now, and you could do a bit of customization with this with the nameplate info, cast bar info, whether or not aggro is displayed, debuff tracking and padding, and then you can also choose whether or not you want to enable simplified nameplates for certain types of mobs. Now, add-ons like Plater and things like that will probably reskin a lot of this, and for the most part, if you are using add-ons for nameplates, they probably still will continue to work. They just won't be able to provide new information that isn't already provided by Blizzard. So yeah, if you don't like the look of these, you probably will be able to customize these through add-ons. Your party frames are also getting updated with pre-patch. They're going to display a lot more information. Now, I can't speak too much about this, honestly. I just hope that this is enough information for players to be satisfied.
And that's one of the things we were talking about just the other day when it came to, I hope that they give everybody what they're looking for. Of course, when you're looking at it like this, when you're looking at it in this format, this is a lot. This is a lot of information to be taking in, and by the looks of it, you'll be able to filter out what really applies, what you really need to know as a healer, as a tank, as a DPS. I think unless you're somebody that's very skilled at the game, is only going to worry about what pertains to you. I don't think you're going to worry about. But if you're a healer, you want to be able to tell what kind of debuffs they have on them and what you have to dispel, things of that sort. If you're a really good DPS class, you might want to see what's going to be a buff that you get. And so you release, release the hounds, and then you're out there blasting. I don't know, man. I just got into healing, so don't ask me. I'm kind of a noob when it comes to this. But you got your raid size, your frames, your height, your groups. You know, you could separate them, your display borders, your template, your opacity, your icon size. So, and the template, like it says here, debuff focus. So yeah, you'll be able to focus that. I don't know what these big things are in the middle of the fucking frame. That's crazy. Like this to me would mean like they're getting rezzed. Their cooldown, their Hearthstone is on cooldown. See what I mean? Like, I hope they have a legend like you do on a map to kind of explain all this shit.
I can't speak too much about this, honestly. I just hope that this is enough information for players to be satisfied, as there is some pretty heavy API restrictions on the party frames and what is going to be displayed. So hopefully this is enough for people to continue to play the way they have been. If not, then maybe Blizzard might unrestrict some stuff here. But for the most part, yeah, the party frames will just display a lot more information. A minor change coming is that raid chat will now have chat bubbles, so you can enable that in the settings. Another thing you're going to notice going forward is that there's going to be new boss warnings. So these have been added to the game as kind of an in-game replacement for things like DBM and bigwigs. Now, as of right now, it doesn't look like it's completely retroactive, so we're probably not going to see this in Manifold Omega or things like that and in pre-patch, but I might be wrong. These raids are not open on the PTR,
so this gives me a nice view. I mean, and let's be fair. I mean, everybody could say it's ugly, but it looks like it's fairly customizable when it comes to the raidability timeline. This looks better than some of the shit that I've seen out there. So depending on what weaker you are using, this looks completely fine to me. This looks very nice. I know it's going to have some customizability. I know you're going to be able to make it smaller and make it fit but for the most part, it's fine. So like we were watching that Eisen video and you guys were all being like doomers on it. I'm like, not that big of a deal, dude. You don't want it, don't use it. That's what I got to say about everything. You don't want it, don't use it. One thing that I saw pop up while he was doing it was the flash word alert. Like some people don't like that because like for instance, I don't. I like sound alerts more than I like to read. I don't want that in my shit.
Don't actually know whether or not they're going to have these raid warnings, but if a boss does have those raid warnings, add-ons like DBM and bigwigs will be able to reskin it to make it look like something you're more used to. But you can custom.
It looks like this guy's farting towards this crystal.
Those raid warnings, add-ons like DBM and bigwigs will be able to reskin it to make it look like something you're more used to. But you can customize this through the settings to make it look and feel how you like. You can also use the edit mode as well if you want to kind of change the look and position of it. I kind of like it. I've been using it quite a lot, and it provide some pretty helpful information during boss encounters.
Yeah, you see, so like here, we have the customizability for the boss warning, critical, medium, minor. If you want that shit out of the I bet you all you have to do if you don't like those, right click them, shut them off. That's it. All of this shit that's what I really do like about the way that Blizzard's made their UI so friendly, user friendly. You don't want it, right click it, off. Like right down here where it says visibility, active encounter. All you have to do is hidden. That's it. Just hidden. It's out of the way. You don't see it.
But as mentioned, add-on authors will be able to access and reskin this information, so it might not feel too different to you. The cooldown manager is also getting some updates. They've added support to share and save multiple layouts for the cooldown manager, which is cool. And right-clicking a cooldown in the cooldown manager settings will now give players the option to assign a sound and event type. So you can have up to 3 different alerts for each cooldown, which is pretty handy and actually a little bit of an accessibility option as well. So some updates to the default cooldown manager. Another thing you're going to see is that the game will now have a damage meter. Yes, the game is going to have a damage meter built in by default.
Apparently this wasn't in the game for so long and people were getting fucking jacked about it and they were just like they're taking out pitchforks and getting their lighter fluid out to set shit on fire. So we'll see how good it is. I mean, maybe they left it till last because they're like, that's easy. We got harder shit to worry about, and this was the last thing they weren't thinking about. And they're like, dude, this isn't like the most important thing we got to worry about right now. We got platers. We got nameplates to worry about. That's more important because they're going all over the fucking place right now. We got to get that on the... So, it looks like these will be fine. Like we covered in another video, they're going to be covered like basically 4 things. And you'll be able to enable 3 windows. You're fine. You're fine.
Now, on this, you can track different types of damage, different types of healing, even interrupts and dispels as of right now. And you can create multiple windows, up to 3, and you can customize the look and feel of this through the edit mode. Add-ons like details will continue to exist. However, the information provided will just be the information that the inbuilt damage meter gives. So basically, if you can track it on the inbuilt one, details will also track it there. They're not going to provide any new information as of right now, but maybe that'll change. But essentially, if you're a details enjoyer or other damage meter enjoyer, you're probably not going to feel too much different. But if you do want to use the in-game one, it is there for you.
The only thing that I like about my details window is my is the Toxie UI skin that I have on it. Because for me, I you know, as you look at my UI here or everything, it's everything. I like everything to kind of be neon and stand out, which I can have that with mine. I don't know if you'll be able to have those kind of different skins when it comes to yours here at the beginning of the pre-patch.
To use. I kind of like the look of it, actually. And finally on UI, big change that I love, find lumber. So find lumber is changing, so you'll actually be able to track lumber through the minimap instead of having to have the harvesting hatchet in your bag. To enable this on your character on day 1 of pre-patch, simply just click the axe in your bag and it's consumed and it adds the toggle to your minimap. You'll be able to find lumber as a toggle on your minimap, which is probably how it should have been since the start, but it is nice to see it coming in. We also have a new PvP mode coming in pre-patch. This is the new training grounds. So this is a new evergreen PvP feature, which is...
We were just talking about this for all the people that, you know, want to get into PvP. This is going to be a cool new updated feature that we have.
It's basically Comp Stomp, but not a brawl. So this is going to be active all the time, and this is going to be players versus AI NPCs. Now, as of the release, there will be 3 battlegrounds which are featured, which is Battlefield Gilneas, the Silver Shard Mine, and Arathi Basin. Now, as of my testing, it did reward honor, but it didn't give any marks of honor, but that was a while ago, so they could have changed it since I've tested it on beta. I really hope it does still give marks of honor. Obviously, people use Comp Stomp as a pretty good farm for that currency, so yeah, hopefully it's pretty much the same there. This mode is really just designed for people to kind of dive into PvP without the pressure of kind of having other players there. So it seems like a pretty great thing to add, especially if you can get honor from it. So it might be a good honor farm with a little bit less stress. So let's talk about housing in pre-patch. So details on housing have been a little sparse as it hasn't been enabled on the midnight pre-patch PTR. However, Blizzard have come out and said that a few things are coming for housing. One of the big things here is endeavors. Yes, endeavors have been confirmed to be launching in pre-patch. So these are kind of the gameplay aspect of the neighborhood. With these, you kind of work together with your neighborhood to complete tasks like a group trading post of sorts.
No, I'm not gonna lie, dude. I haven't done shit with my house. I haven't done any decor hunting, anything. I don't even know anything about chopping wood, getting wood. So I haven't done anything, but if they make it where it's interactive and there's more of gameplay around it, then I might actually go start enjoying it a little bit more. But as of right now, it's not something that I've gotten into. But the same could be said about delves. Before, I used to, like, you know, trash and bash on delves, but now I really have enjoyed delves. I surprisingly I have. I still didn't get down Kaivesa ? I don't know that I'll do that this season, because that to me, that's a gold farm right there. It's like they want you to buy tokens. If they gave me free repairs, I'd be all in.
These tasks will fill a bar and unlock more decor rewards at different intervals. Now, these tasks include things just around your neighborhood, but it can also include things like killing raid bosses or dungeons and things like that.
No, I'm sorry to keep stopping the video, but this one here, the Razor Wind, I don't know what the name of this particular one is, if it is the Razor Wind Shores, but this jumping puzzle one, oh, that looks like a total pain in the ass. I've never been good at jumping puzzles. I don't think I will ever be good at. It's just, I have no patience, and then I'm just bad. Not a good mixture.
And if you have 3 people from your neighborhood in the group, you also get double the XP. One of the big things with Endeavors is that it's going to give you a lot of housing XP. So your houses are going to be leveling up a lot faster than just collecting decor, because this is sort of the main XP source for your houses. Now, Endeavors are themed on specific cultures. As of pre-patch, we're going to have Blood Elf, Ethereal, Grummels, Niffin, Drakthir, and Mechanomes, it seems. Now, there are other ones in the data, but we haven't seen those on the beta as of right now. The Blood Elf one interacts directly with Midnight Zones, so I don't expect that to be active on the pre-patch. That'll probably launch with Midnight once we have access to those zones. Also, endeavors do last 1 month at a time, and if you're in a private neighborhood, the owner of that private neighborhood can actually choose which endeavor you have, but if you're in a public neighborhood, the game will choose it for you. I would imagine it will just rotate through each of them month by month. These are just kind of scratching the surface of the details. I will have a full video on endeavors coming out on the channel very, very soon. Another thing confirmed is that we're going to get Blood Elf and Night Elf house shapes for our neighborhoods. So yeah, these houses are amazing. I love the Blood Elf one, especially. So much customization there, and yeah, you're gonna have access to those on.
See, that could be another reason why I didn't get into housing as fast as everyone else, because even though I could have been learning all the mechanics on how to use all the assets that they have, it wasn't the style of house that I wanted. I wanted my Silver Moon Palace, if you will. I wanted that look. But if it's still going to be here in Elwyn Forest or Ogrimmar area, I probably still won't get into it until they open up the settlement in Silvermoon, because that's to me what I believe they're doing and they're working towards by redoing and giving that all a makeover. I believe that's where we'll be able to use
Day 1 of the pre-patch. Another thing is charter neighborhoods, maybe? On the pre-patch PTR, you were able to try and start a charter neighborhood. The option was there, so potentially these are going to be active finally in pre-patch. And another kind of question mark with housing is...
But what does it do? So you made your own subdivision. What does that mean? You got to pay HOA fees now? What the fuck?
More levels. So the data does suggest that we should be able to go from level 5 to level 9, which is the same as the Midnight Beta as of right now. Now, they could lock this off potentially, but with enabling endeavors and getting all that XP, I would imagine this will probably be something that is going to be there, which also means like bigger house sizes and things like that are also coming in pre-patch. So again, a couple of question marks there, but we are getting endeavors, Blood Elf houses, and charter neighborhoods in pre-patch. One thing we do know is that there will be some more decor from dungeons, so because of the Midnight Season 1 dungeons all having decor attached to them, we'll be able to acquire some of these legacy dungeon decors as of pre-patch. So in the Pit of Sauron, you should be able to get the Eye of Acarus. Also, while we're talking about that dungeon, you will see some other changes coming to it in regards to boss models and sort of the way the dungeon works. That changes because of it joining Season 1 of Midnight, but it will also affect normal and heroic modes. So if you're running that dungeon, it might feel a little bit different. In the Skyreach, you're going to get the Skyreach Circular Table. In the Dark Flame Cleft, you're going to get the Wax Master's Candle Rack. And in the Crucible of Storms Raid...
I seriously thought those were wind chimes when I saw that. This reminds me of a Catholic church, donate, say a prayer.
You will get the Crucible Voltive Rack. So certainly a couple of decor items being added to some dungeons for you to collect on pre-patch. Moving on into the Midnight Pre-Patch event. So this starts on January 27th or 28th, depending on your region. So 1 week after the launch. So this event can be done from levels 10 to 80, but obviously I recommend level 80. And it takes place in the Twilight Highlands. So once you've completed the introduction quest on one of your characters, you can head over to the Twilight Highlands and you'll see some small outdoor rare events, which have you killing NPCs, filling a bar, and then defeating a rare. And that will happen every 10 minutes in various parts of the zone. So it is just kind of a fly and kill rares sort of event, which does reward some items. You will also see some new world quests popping up in the zone for your characters, which is a part of 2 new weekly quests, which will happen in the Twilight Highlands to complete world quests and to complete these rare events as well. So basically, you're going to be in that zone, just killing and repeating various things. Now, there is a new currency which is coming with this event, and this is used to purchase some of the new cosmetic rewards and some of the catch-up gear as well. In regards to rewards, there's a new arsenal, which has different kind of Twilight Hammers themed weapon appearances. You also have a new ensemble, the well-worn Twilight Cultist attire, which is an HT version of the original Twilight Trappings attire from Vanilla WoW. You also have various pieces of decor you can purchase, like the Silvermoon wooden chair, the enchanted Blood Elven candelabra, and the Cinderai winged chaise. You're also going to have a new mount called the Retrained Skyraiser mount. You're also going to have 3 battle pets you can purchase, and there will also be some Warbound Champion gear that you can purchase as well. This is a recolor of the Kaz Algar dungeon set, and this will sell armor, rings, necklaces, cloaks, and weapons, and each of the pieces cost 40 of the currency each to purchase. So these will be new appearances, but they do also drop from the rare events, so you might not need to purchase all of these. So you could just kind of do the rare events, hope that they drop, and then maybe as the events end,
That's just like the Nightfall event. So if you guys have done that, if you did that, which I did, I didn't think I would get into it, but I saw the transmog and I'm like, oh, that is awesome. So I did do it, and upon doing it, I learned that a lot of this gear that you'll get just from transmog is, you know, real nice. It gives your alts a nice little boost in item level as well if you're trying to get them caught up. And that's what I kind of used it for on my alts. Also, what did I do? I bought one of the nice pieces that had the higher item level, and I think I was only able to get that on one character once a week. So depending on how long this is, it's not quite the Nightfall event, but it did come with a tabard where you would level up that tabard 3 times, but I don't. This is a different event, so we'll see how this one goes.
you can go and purchase the ones you're missing, but yeah, certainly I wouldn't waste too many of those tokens buying the set. This event also does have some new achievements. It has 2 achievements. The first one is 2 minutes to midnight. This is to defeat each of the bosses summoned by the Twilight Blades in the Twilight Highlands during the pre-patch event. This does reward a new mount called the Lightforged Mech Suit mount and a new title of Thorn of Twilight. There's also another achievement, which is called Crushing the Cultist. This is to win the Twilight Blades Stratagem game in the Twilight Ascension base camp. This is a new interactable game that you can play, which is basically tic-tac-toe, and you have to win this 50 times to get this achievement. Now, there was a toy on the vendor, which does let you do it from anywhere, but that doesn't seem to be on the vendor as of the recording of this, so it looks like they may have removed it. Not too sure there, but you will be able to play this game in the Twilight base camp in the Twilight Highlands. So yeah, enjoy tic-tac-toe and enjoy trying to win 50 times for these achievements. So overall, yeah, the pre-patch event is pretty much one of the pre-patch events of all time. Fly around, kill rares, and do world quests. So for the most part, it'll keep us busy and have some new collectibles to obtain. Also coming in pre-patch is a new mount achievement. The Insurmountable Collection achievement for collecting 600 mounts will be coming to the game in pre-patch. This will reward Anshular Shadow's Guidance, which is a purple variant of
Very
the
nice.
Mythic Farak mount, which is pretty cool looking. So if you already have over 600 mounts, then you will get this achievement day 1 of the pre-patch.
Sweet.
Also in pre-patch, you'll notice a new login screen. Yes, the Midnight login screen will come with pre-patch. So this is a new portal login screen, which does look pretty cool. I really like it. I love the shards falling into it. I did try and get a loop of it, but it seems like it's pretty randomly generated or whatever. Like you can't get a perfect loop, but that's fine. It is very cool looking. I could just stare at it for days. Now, one thing I will say is I do feel like the buttons should probably not be red. Maybe they should be blue or purple. It just feels a bit weird. Maybe change the buttons from red to a different color. I know you could do it through add-ons if you wanted to, but yeah, by default, I think that should be changed. But overall, I don't hate it. I don't hate the login screen. I think it actually looks pretty cool. And finally, the Winds of Mysterious Fortune buff is coming back for pre-patch. This does start 1 week after pre-patch on the 27th or 8th, depending on your region, and ends on the midnight release. So yeah, nothing too revolutionary here. This is just a leveling and reputation buff from levels 10 to 79. And also while you're leveling, you'll get various bags that contain helpful items to help you on your leveling journey. This reputation buff affects Dragonflight and War Within reputations. We haven't heard any other details as of right now, but yeah, what it seems like is that it is just going to be pretty much what we expect as a kind of leveling event. Now, we've just had Legion Remix, so maybe people won't have alts to level, but yeah, it'd be nice to have a little bit of a buff to the reputations regardless. So yeah, that's it. That is the Midnight pre-patch. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on this pre-patch. Certainly
That is a great video by our man, Mr. GM. A great video. I think, you know what, everything coming in, that we're going to have a great time doing it. If we don't, well, the only people we have to blame is Blizz, and we all know they always listen to us. So until next time, everybody, I'm just saying, right? They always listen to us.